Welcome to the NXT Ring of Honor News Central for the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. This is the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast with your host, Lewis Carlin.
Hello and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Personified Podcast. I am your host, Lewis Carlin, and we are back again this week, going over all the NXT and Ring of Honor action that has occurred. Normally I am flying solo, but today I do have a very special guest host with me. He is the Ring of Honor contributor to a terrific website, Kayfabe Today, Luke Dorsch. Luke, how you doing today, my man?
I am well, and I am thankful for the opportunity to be here and grateful.
Well, it's phenomenal to have you here, man. It's like I said, I'm always flying solo, and sometimes I get a little lonely, so I needed a little company. So I figured I'd ask you to come along for the ride. So I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and we're gonna have a great podcast here, man.
I think we will.
All right. So what's going on? How's the week going for you?
The week has been full of New Japan G1 for me, between my regular day-to-day function, but wrestling-wise, it's been all New Japan for me, essentially. And, of course, NXT and Ring of Honor.
All right, cool. I meant personally, but, if you want to talk about wrestling, that's fine. I just want to know how your week was going in general. But that's cool. That's cool, man. Always thinking about the wrestling. That's why I love you, bro.
I am always thinking about wrestling.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I was actually today. I was at I went to there was this birthday party. We were at a beach, and I don't know. Every time I get together with a group of people, I don't know if you ever get this feeling, but I always get the urge to just to hit somebody with a backstab or slap a coquina clutch on someone, and just to see if I could take them out. But I never go through with it, but I always have that urge, maybe just hit somebody with a 1%er, see what would happen. But I guess I'm always thinking about wrestling as well, so that's what I was thinking today. I was sizing everybody up, thinking, can I take this guy down with a 1%er? Can I drop kick this guy into the lake? So that's basically was my day today.
My claim to fame on that one was I hit a beautiful spinning DDT off of a couch during WrestleMania on a friend of mine and broke my cell phone, actually.
Which bone did you break?
I broke my cell phone.
Oh, your cell phone. I thought you broke a bone. I'm sorry. No. So, okay. Yeah. So, but it was worth it though. You hit the DDT, so it was worth breaking the cell phone, I would imagine.
It was a beautiful spinning DDT.
Okay, man. Well, do you have it on video? Can I see it on YouTube?
I don't have it on video. It was very spur of the moment.
All right, man. All right, cool. So we had a lot of action this week in NXT and ROH, and we'll start off with NXT. What did you think of the show this week?
I see where they're going with the show. I liked it. I especially liked, of course, the Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan match. I'm a big fan of Oney Lorcan, and back when he was Fifth Music, I've been following him since CZW to PWG, and I followed his independent career, and I was glad when he got the opportunity to go to the WWE developmental system.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely love Oney Lorcan. It seems though every match he's in these days, somebody's ending up with a broken nose or a bloody nose. It was with the Tommy, and now with Burch. But he's a hard hitting striker. How did you feel about the ending though? I thought it ended kind of abruptly with the half crab. I was expecting a little more. But what do you think? How do you think? What do you think of the ending? Did you like the ending, or did you want to see a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely wanted to see a little bit more, which I think was the intention of the length of the match. It gave the fans a taste of what to expect, and hopefully they get a match at the next TakeOver, or at least get a match in that venue that will be showed in its full entirety on a future NXT broadcast, because that was phenomenal. Danny Burch is fantastic too. I'm not as familiar with him as other guys in the UK, but he looked great in the UK tournament, and that match was just phenomenal. Oney really can't have a bad match right now. Everything he does is pretty solid, and like you said, he's very hard-hitting. It was abrupt, and I think it was done that way to set something up in the future.
No, I agree. I do expect them to meet again at Takeover Brooklyn, and I do hope they go for 20-25 minutes because it's just a hard-hitting encounter. The fans I know the fans have been quiet the last few weeks in NXT. I don't know if you noticed, but they were standing up for this match and they were cheering. So I do hope we get, we will get Lorcan against Birch again, but I do hope it's a longer match, and I do expect it to see at TakeOver Brooklyn.
Those lengthy TV tapings can wear you down. I've been to more Ring of Honor TV tapings than I could possibly remember. And I remember the very last one I went to, by the time of the final match for the final week's taping, it was a long day. It was like a 6-hour show. It was a long show. And those NXT tapings, I feel, are just as long.
Yeah, no, that's what I mentioned that. I was wondering that if maybe, the fans are just tired because they've been there for so long. But yeah. So you were right there. 6-hour tapings. If they're in the fifth, if they're there for 5 hours, 30 minutes, I guess they're tired. They don't want to stand up and cheer. But they were cheering for this match, and it was well deserved.
And rightfully so.
Definitely, rightfully so. Yeah, I love Birch asking for the rematch. I hope Birch wins the next match, and it kind of sets up a rubber match. So that's what I'm hoping for. So I don't know. Maybe they'll have a match before TakeOver, and Birch will win, and then the rubber match will be TakeOver at Brooklyn TakeOver. That's definitely something I would love to see. Yeah. So
I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
No, me neither, man. Me neither. And I'm sure Birch will will suffer a bloody nose in each match as well, because that seems to, like I said, that seems to be happening a lot in Oney Lorcan matches, especially with those strikes. But yeah, it's definitely something to look forward to. From there, what did you think of the main event between McIntyre and Killian Dane?
I'm pretty high on Drew McIntyre. Once again, I've been following him since his first in the WWE, and then all through the independents, and even when Impact or when with TNA when he was there. Big fan of Drew McIntyre. I thought the match was pretty good. I thought that he looked strong. He did well. It seems like he's taken a straight up babyface type role now. Killian Dane also is impressive. He still does some independent dates up at the New England Wrestling up there with Cody Rhodes and them. So yeah, Killian Dane's one of those big guys. Kind of reminds me of Hansen from War Machine.
Oh yeah. Speaking of War Machine, I don't want to switch gears here, but I hear that they're possibly coming to NXT. I don't know how I feel about that because I love them in ROH. But NXT does need a few, good tag teams, which they're kind of lacking right now. So, I guess it's a win-win situation for the fans, whether they're in ROH or in NXT. But personally, I don't know how you feel. I kind of hope they would stay in Ring of Honor. How do you feel? Are you excited about them possibly coming to NXT, or would you like to see them stay in Ring of Honor?
I would prefer them to stay in Ring of Honor and still work New Japan, but I understand how it is. A great segue there. Apparently, there are two guys that are former Ring of Honor and IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions in Ring of Honor. You got Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. If they put them guys together, we could have a little Redragon action in NXT.
Absolutely. That's definitely another. Bobby Fish made his debut. It was 2 weeks ago. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? He made his debut. It was 2 weeks ago, right?
It was last week.
Last week
against Aleister.
Yeah, Aleister Black. Yeah, that's I love the debut. Wasn't a fan of Bobby Fish losing in his debut, but like you said, giving away a spoiler here, which I normally don't like to do, but Kyle O'Reilly will be making his debut in NXT shortly, and if they could get together as a tag team in NXT, that would be phenomenal. Because again, like I said, they're lacking in tag teams. I don't know how you feel about Heavy Machinery, but I'm not their biggest fan, and it seems to be the only other top tag team right now besides Authors of Pain. I can't really think of any other tag team that they've been pushing. So actually, what's your opinion on Heavy Machinery? I'm just curious, because I wasn't a fan of theirs, but I just would love to hear what you think about Heavy Machinery.
I am not sold on Heavy Machinery yet as viable contenders. They've made the Authors of Pain destroy everybody. They've looked nothing but dominant. Had two of the better matches the WWE has put out this year. The triple threat with the Revival and DIY was great. Then the solo ladder match, the last takeover, was very, very fun with DIY. But Heavy Machinery, I'm not sold on them yet. I have seen nothing that really separates them from anyone. I'm just not sold on them yet. I'm not the biggest fan. I guess I agree with you 100% on that. I'm just not sold on them yet. I don't see them as, they're not there yet.
And another thing, they haven't really connected with the fans like DIY has, or they had before the breakup. I mean, there was a big near fall during the match last week, and the crowd was just silent. It was just, they just haven't connected with the fans. And thank you for agreeing with me, because I'm not the only one out there, people. There are other people who aren't sold on Heavy Machinery. So thank you, Luke, for backing me on that one. I appreciate it, man.
You were very welcome.
Yeah, we should become a tag team, and we should go to NXT and go after the tag team titles. You could do that DDT move that you did when you broke your phone on one of the Authors of Pain, and we could be the NXT Tag Team Champions.
Those guys are legit. I forget which one was an MMA fighter, but someone tweeted me the other day of some of his MMA action, some of his finishes, and yeah. I got nothing for them guys.
Okay, no, I got you. No, they are legit. They're the real deal. I know they have a possible feud coming up with Sanity, and it was whoopee, big deal. Who cares? I mean, they, like I said, they need more tag teams that they could feud with. They need another team like DIY, and as you said, potentially Redragon coming together, or even War Machine would definitely. War Machine against Authors of Pain would be phenomenal, but again, I do hope that they stay in Ring of Honor, because War Machine against the Young Bucks, that's. And we're gonna get into Ring of Honor a little bit later, but War Machine against the Young Bucks, you can't get better than that.
You truly can't.
No. So back to the match though. Drew McIntyre, Killian Dane. I thought Killian Dane looked really well in defeat. He took he kicked out at one with the Future Shock DDT, and it took 2 Claymore kicks to take him out. So I like Killian Dane a lot. And I think he looked really good in defeat. I kind of thought and I don't read spoilers, so I didn't know who was going to win. So I was kind of thinking that maybe Killian Dane was going to win the match, but as we all know, Drew McIntyre hitting the 2 Claymore kicks, and he won the match, and he'll be going to take on Robert Roode for the NXT title. So what did you think? Did you think Dane looked good in defeat, or what was your opinion on that?
Absolutely. Killian Dane's good. I follow NEW, like I said, pretty well, so I was familiar with him before he even came to NXT. No, he's great. Killian Dane, he's good. I can't complain. He does Kenny Omega's One-Winged Angel as his finisher. I thought it was great. I thought the match was pretty solid. The crowd didn't seem overly into it. Probably, like we said, just fatigue. But I thought it looked good. I thought he looked strong in defeat. This is his only loss in NXT. I think that was his only loss. I believe they even said that both guys were undefeated in NXT. I had a feeling, I didn't know who was going to win that match, but I had a feeling it would have been Drew McIntyre. It seems that he will be the heir to Bobby Roode, at least in my opinion.
Okay. That's
so,
actually,
I can't be mad at that match. It was solid. McIntyre can have a good match with just about anybody.
Okay, I kind of disagree. I think Roode's going to wind up beating McIntyre, and I think the heir apparent is Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black is going to be the next NXT World Champion. I love Aleister Black. Actually, if it was Black against McIntyre, which
the long game.
What's that? What was that? I'm sorry.
That's the long game. I was thinking the title switch would happen soon, and maybe Bobby Roode would get called up with the next set of call-ups. But, yeah, Aleister Black, I think they'll build him a little more. But No, Aleister Black is the star of NXT right now. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's my favorite wrestler right now in NXT. And, I don't know if it was McIntyre. McIntyre against Black would have been a phenomenal match, but I think you're right there. When you think about it, they're probably going to wait on Black. That's why it was McIntyre against Dane. Let McIntyre win. And you're absolutely right. I wouldn't be surprised if. I wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me, I should say, if McIntyre comes away as the NXT champion and Rude goes up to the main roster. I just hope he doesn't get buried in the main roster like a lot of the NXT wrestlers are getting buried up there. But yeah, definitely, Aleister Black is a future NXT World Champion, and I think he's the one. I think Fish is making his debut against Black, right? In a few weeks.
Bobby Fish made his debut against Aleister Black last week, yes.
Okay. Well, that's not... Well, obviously, Black is not going to lose, so obviously Black... Most.
You meant Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly's making his debut against Aleister Black.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said Bobby Fish. I'm sorry about that. You're right. Kyle O'Reilly. Thanks for correcting me on that. So yeah, that's what I meant. Kyle O'Reilly will be making his debut against Black. And I guess in a few weeks. That's definitely something to see. And again, I apologize to anybody giving away the spoilers, but Kyle O'Reilly is debuting in NXT in I guess in a few weeks. I'm not exactly sure when. So what'd you think about Ember Moon and Ruby Riott?
That was a good one too. That was a nice little match. I was glad to see it. They're both baby faces. I always like when you got two baby faces going against one another. Ember Moon is impressive. I was happy with that match. I really was. Ruby Riott, the former Hottie Loveless from AAW, is great. Once again, I've been following her for a long time. Ember Moon, I think, comes from Booker T's promotion down there in Texas, which I don't follow. But yeah, that match was good. I was really glad to see it. They gave them ample TV time. They had a lot of time to work. Everybody looked good. It was good. I was happy with it. Ember Moon's continues to look strong since her injuries healed up. So yeah, I was happy with that match.
Terrific match. Very hard fought match between the two. Excellent work by both. Obviously, Ember Moon is supposed to be the next in line for Asuka, and that's going to be a phenomenal match, Asuka against Ember Moon. So she was expected to go over, and she did, but it was a hard-fought match between the two, and I absolutely loved the match. This could have been a main event, in my opinion, instead of opening the show. It could have been a main event on any NXT show or any wrestling show for that matter. It was that good. So I was definitely happy with that match. And again, I'm looking forward to Ember Moon against Asuka. Do you think Moon's going to dethrone Asuka, or is Asuka going to hold on to that title for a little longer?
If anyone is going to dethrone Asuka, it's going to be Ember Moon. Excuse me. I think that I really don't know. I don't know. I remember hearing about a year ago that Asuka was going to be staying in NXT for a long time, and there was no plans to move her up to the main roster. But that's been a while now, and she's been the champion for a long time. She's more than ready to go to Raw or SmackDown and be a viable contender on either show, honestly. Yeah, I think that it could be Ember Moon's time. I think she's going to take Asuka out. They may do one more rematch before Asuka goes up to the main roster, but yeah, I think Ember Moon's time's come.
Nope, I have to agree there. I think Ember Moon's time is here. I think obviously they're going to meet at TakeOver Brooklyn. I think Moon is going to win the title, and Asuka's going to go up to the main roster. And again, like I said earlier about Rude, I hope she doesn't get buried in the main roster like a lot of the NXT wrestlers have when they go up there. But I would love to see her go up there and have lots of success because she's extremely talented wrestler. And I'm a huge fan. I love Asuka. But it's Ember Moon's time to win the title, and I do think that she's going up. Asuka is going up to the main roster.
Agreed.
All right. So, what do you think about these Street Profits? Are you thinking a Crime Time ripoff, or what are you thinking there with these little vignettes that they're showing with the Street Profits?
Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of a Crime Time ripoff. I'm not familiar with those guys, but yeah, that's what it seems like. It could be is it going to be a tag team, you think?
I think it's going to be a tag team. Yeah, that's the first time I saw it last week. I'm instantly thinking of Crime Time, a Crime Time ripoff, because it seemed very similar. They snuck into the Performance Center, and I don't know what they were doing in there, but they just snuck in. It kind of seemed like a bit of a crime, like I said, Crime Time ripoff. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I guess they're just going to show a few more vignettes, and I guess we'll still see their debut in a few weeks or so. I'm not familiar with them either, so I'm not really overly excited about it because I never was really a Crime Time fan. So it remains to be seen. We'll see. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see. Wait for them to debut and see how they do.
What about No Way Jose and Cesar Banawai? I can't say his last name.
Banani, Cesar Banani.
Banani, yes. Banani.
That match was good, but it was just basically a setup for Almas to get his revenge because Banani beat him 2 months ago. He stole a victory over him,
right.
and also I think a setup to begin Almas. No Way Jose feud there, and this lady that's with him, Thea Trinidad. They really haven't given her a name yet, but it's Thea Trinidad. So I don't know if that's his wife. They really haven't his girlfriend, his sister. They really haven't given any insight on who that lady is and who she is to Almas. So, but match was okay. Banani is a big guy. He's agile. He looks impressive. But I think overall it's just a setup so Almas could attack Banani and begin a feud with No Way Jose.
Agreed.
All right.
What's your opinion of Andre Cien Almas?
I like the guy. He's super, super talented. And I don't know. I just felt, they were putting him in these matches and he was losing almost every match that I was watching him in. But I don't know. He's extremely talented wrestler. Has a terrific skill set, and I don't think they're giving him the push that he deserves. If that's how you want to put it. So I don't know. What do you feel about him?
I was high on him when he was in New Japan. I don't follow a lot of Mexican wrestling. I watch Lucha and a little bit of AAA, but mostly I know him from New Japan. So I knew him. I know how great he is, and I think the match he had with Roderick Strong is one of the sleeper matches of the year so far. It was just the match we had a couple takeovers ago was just ridiculously good. And like you said, he's losing a lot. Hopefully they turn that around. It seemed like they didn't know what to do with him for a while, whether to make him a babyface, a heel. He seemed up in the air with that character. But I think the valet is a good addition. He's definitely slipped into a real deal heel mode now. He even cowered behind his valet after he came down at the end of the match. And him and Noe Jose would be good, and it'll also give a chance for Almas to look strong, I think, which is what he needs. He deserves it. He's a great, great, great wrestler.
Okay, and I again, we're agreeing again. I think we've agreed on everything so far. So I'm agreeing with you there. He's a super talented wrestler and definitely deserves a push. I could see him as a future NXT world champion. But that remains to be seen. But yeah, so I'm sure we're going to see another match with him against Banani. He's going to get that win back, and then we'll get into the feud with No Way Jose, which he should win. I'd be very surprised if he loses that feud with No Way Jose or loses a match to No Way Jose. And then we'll see where it goes from there.
Agreed.
All right, we're agreeing on every. Man, you got to come back every week, man. Yeah, this. I like you, man. We're agreeing on everything, man.
I think we make a good team.
Yeah, we do. We make a great team. I'd say we should go after Authors of Pain. Go after the NXT Tag Team titles. I think we'll be. We would run. Then we could go after the Young Bucks. Instead of fuck the Revival, we could start a fuck the Young Bucks thing. Nah, you know what? Never mind. Forget about it. I apologize. The Young Bucks are too good. I take that back. I take that back. I take that back. I don't want to end up with them roasting me on being the elite or anything like that. So I'll take that back, and I apologize to the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club. So that was it for it. Oh no, actually, one more thing. We got the match that the little backstage thing that they had with Cassius Ohno and Hideo Itami, and they're having the match next week. Think we're finally going to see that full-fledged heel turn from Itami, because it's kind of working its way towards that.
Absolutely. They need to do something with Itami. He's just ridiculously good, and I think when him and Cassius Ohno lock up, it's going to be fantastic. And I've been waiting to see that match for a long time.
Yeah, me too. I think the match is gonna begin. I think I have this feeling that Itami's they're gonna have a match for a little bit, and then Itami's just gonna turn completely heel, and kind of like Zbyszko and Bruno Sammartino, and just completely destroy Ono with a chair or something, and they'll have a return match at a Takeover Brooklyn. So I'm thinking something like that's going to happen next week when they square off. But yeah, so that's it. That was NXT. For the week. I think we covered everything, and just going to do a few plugs right now. And if you want to plug anything, feel free. I'll just do a few plugs here, and if you have anything to plug away, I think you have a YouTube channel or something. I don't know. Do you want to start the plugs off if you have anything?
Oh, sure, absolutely. I will plug myself. No shameless self-promotion here.
Okay.
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Charm City Sinner at Luke Dorsch, Dorsch. And there's a link to my YouTube channel from there. And on YouTube, I am known as the Combat Professor. I have a lot of cool independent wrestling stuff on there and some MMA stuff on there, too.
All right. Awesome, man. Awesome. And as I said earlier, this is the Pro Wrestling Personified podcast. We are part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. If you have any emails that you want to send us, you can send it to tappedoutwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at tappedoutpod. Follow me on Twitter at PWSOTH. Check out our website for other tremendous podcasts at tappedoutwrestlingpodcast.com. If you're a pro wrestling fan, MMA fan, and you don't have the Fight app, you got to get the Fight app. The Fight app is fantastic. Loads and loads of wonderful content on there. I, as well as Luke, write for a website called Kayfabe Today, a tremendous website. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that one, Luke, as well. Kayfabe Today is a tremendous website. Lots of tremendous content on there. As I said, Luke is the Ring of Honor contributor. I have a column called Random Review, which I use a Fight app for. So check out Kayfabe Today. It's a fantastic site. You agree with me on that one, right, Luke?
Comparatively speaking, I think we cover more professional wrestling on kayfabetoday.com than any other website out there, possibly. We have the American Independents covered. We have every WWE event covered. We have UK Independents covered. We have Lucha covered. We have Wrestle Circus covered. I do Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Ring of Honor personally. We have everything covered, and it's definitely worth checking out. I can't possibly put over Kayfabe Today more.
You know what, Luke? I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to agree with you again, my man. And yeah, a fantastic website. Check it out, kayfabetoday.com. Also, if you need a T-shirt, go to Pro Wrestling Tees. You have a favorite professional wrestler, you go to Pro Wrestling Tees. That's TEES.com. Check it out. Pick up a T-shirt. Support a independent wrestler. And coming to the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network, there are a few interviews that were conducted. One with the legendary Tommy Wildfire Rich, which is out now. Check it out, tappedoutwrestlingpodcast.com. I did 2 interviews recently with Jose Luis Rivera from the WWF from the 80s. It was Enhancement Wrestler. And coming soon, I did an interview actually yesterday with the man behind Congo Kong, Global Force Wrestling superstar Steve Wilson's Steve Wilson. See, I'm getting so excited here, Luke. So the man behind Congo Kong, Steve Wilson. I did an interview with him yesterday, Global Force Wrestling superstar. That's coming next week to the network. All right, so let's get into the Ring of Honor action, Luke. Do you want to start it off, or any specific match you want to talk about first?
If I have to talk about one match from this week's Ring of Honor, it's the television title match with the champion Kushida against Jay White.
What a freaking tremendous match that was from start to finish. And I'm very happy that Punishment Martinez didn't get involved, because I was afraid he was going to get involved and cost Jay White the match. And I'm glad he didn't, because from start to finish, it was absolutely tremendous. Would definitely a candidate for my match of the month for kayfabe today. But tremendous match from start to finish. Of course, Kushida did retain. Wow, this is why Ring of Honor Wrestling is my favorite promotion, because of matches like this. So what was your feelings on the match? I know you thought it was tremendous, but go ahead, talk away. Tell us your opinion.
Specifically, I think Jay White is just so talented. He's so good, and when he finally goes back to New Japan, it's going to be a loss that is really going to hurt Ring of Honor. I think he's just tremendous. Kushida is one of the best in the world. And you put these two guys together, you're going to get something special. And like you said, I'm glad we got a good finish with no interference, which is something that they needed for a championship match. Ring of Honor is known to do that, and I'm glad. They normally don't have too much interference in their championship matches on television, and I'm glad this one had a clean finish. I just loved it. It was everything you could look for in a professional wrestling match.
Absolutely. And what do you think about the upcoming Kushida Kenny King match? I know Kenny King came out after the match and just pointing at the ROH TV title. Do you think Kenny King and Kushida can live up to this match?
Kenny King's a good worker. I think this is going to be the match that may make him or break him at this point. He's been around in Ring of Honor for a while. He's never got the strong push. I don't think he will be the next television champion, but I think that they can have a good match. Will it live up to this match? I hope it does. Kenny King has talent. He's very athletic. I've been watching him for a long time. But I don't know. I hope it does. It's going to be hard to. It's going to be hard to live up to that match. Jay White is ridiculous. He's so good.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's a great description of Jay White. He's just so good. He's just freaking ridiculous. But so I don't know. I kind of think that Scurll is going to eventually get the Ring of Honor TV title back. How do you feel? Do you share that opinion, or do you think it's going to be somebody?
Absolutely share that opinion. When Kushida goes back after the G1, he'll drop that title to Marty Scurll more than likely. The match they had at the last pay-per-view was great, and I was actually in attendance when Kushida won the belt in Philadelphia, so okay. that was a treat. And I agree, absolutely agreed again.
All right, man. Like I said, man, we're a tag team now. There's no turning back now, man. We gotta go for those titles, man. We're full steam ahead here. What do you think about the opening? Young Bucks and Hangman Page coming out. Said they want a shot at the 6-man tag team titles, held by Dalton Castle and the boys, and they are actually getting a shot when they head out to England. I forget which card, but I did see advertisement that they will be facing Dalton Castle and the boys. Do you think they win the 6-man title, or do you think it stays with Castle and the boys?
I think it's in Liverpool. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't think they will go over. It's possible, but Dalton Castle just re-signed with Ring of Honor. I know they've been waiting to do something with him, and the 6-man tag titles is what they're doing, I guess, right now. I don't see them losing it just yet, but if they do lose it, losing it to the Bucks and Hangman wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I just don't think it's happening yet.
Okay, I just don't see how how they would beat the Bucks and Hangman Page unless the Briscoes get involved somehow. I don't know. I think the Bucks and Page are going to win the 6-man title. They're going to take the titles. I just don't see Dalton Castle and the boys hanging with Young Bucks and Hangman Page. But we'll see. Actually, we disagreed on something, so that's a good thing, I guess, right? 'Cause we first time today we've disagreed on something. So what?
I'm a little biased. I'm a ridiculous Dalton Castle fan. I'm a huge mark for Dalton Castle. I don't want him to lose the title anytime soon.
No, that's fair enough. Dalton Castle is extremely talented, but Bullet Club. I'm a Bullet Club guy. Bucks and Hangman Page. That slingshot lariat is freaking phenomenal. So I'm going with Bucks and Hangman Page in that one. But we'll see what happens there. What did you think of the 6-man mayhem match that opened the show?
I liked how Marty Scurll worked that match. It was very villainous.
Oh yeah,
he made the match for me. It had a good lineup in there. Who do we have? We had El Terrible. We had Marty. Vinny Marseglia from the Kingdom was there.
Yep.
Who else was there? Frankie Kazarian.
Josh
Woods, the top prospect winner, and Will Ferreira.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a fun little match. I like those kind of fast-paced, high-spot matches. They're fun, and I really like the way Marty worked that match. I think it was just great for me watching Marty. I'm a big Marty Scurll guy, and I think the way he did it, breaking up the pinfalls and everything he did was all very villainous and very good for his character. And yeah, I liked it. It was good. It was a good TV match. Absolutely. It would have been good to see live too. It was one of those good high-spot matches. I liked it.
Oh, no, I liked it a lot. Very solid match. And Marty Scurll is my guy as well. I love Marty Scurll. Again, like you said, I love the way he worked the match. But I don't know. It just seemed in the beginning El Terrible was doing a lot of no-selling with a lot of the other wrestlers, which I don't know if that went over. I don't know how. I just didn't like. He was doing a lot of no-selling in the beginning, taking shots and just no selling them. I don't know. I didn't really care for that. I don't know if that's his shtick. I'm not really familiar with him.
It is. That is definitely his shtick.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing that for years. That's his shtick, indeed. And I don't know if it worked well in that match. I agree with you absolutely. It didn't work well. So, but that is his shtick, though. He takes shots, beats them, and stares down the guys, and sort of Bruiser Broadcast. He. If I had to compare him to somebody, I'd compare him to Brody. But, he's like the Mexican Brody.
Okay, and Shane Taylor comes out and attacks Josh Woods. That could be an interesting little feud there as well. There's something to look forward to. Shane Taylor's an impressive big guy, and, I really like Josh Woods, so that, has all the makings for a terrific encounter.
Absolutely. Josh Woods was just in my hometown a week ago at the Shane Shamrock Memorial Cup.
Okay.
Hosted by Maryland Championship Wrestling. So that was fun. I got to see that, and Josh Woods is great.
Yeah, I'm trying to get an interview with Josh Woods. He hasn't answered my request yet. So if you're listening, answer my request. I want to get you on the Pro Wrestling Personified podcast. I want to interview you, man. I would love to interview Marty Scurll as well, but that's a real long shot. But Josh Woods, answer my request, man. I want to interview you. So, speaking of, I wanted to ask you, did you watch the show last week? Did you see the Joey Daddiego match with, the tag team match with Joey Daddiego and Cheeseburger?
I did, yes.
What was with every time in the beginning, Daddiego's hitting a move, he yells the word beef. What was that? I've never heard that before. Is that something new or is he just is that his new tagline of just yelling the word beef after every move? I thought that was hilarious, man.
It is very hilarious. I saw him here in Baltimore back in April at the Ring of Honor tapings, and he wasn't doing that then. So maybe it's a new thing. It's funny though. It's definitely funny.
No, I was talking about. I don't know if you listened to the podcast last week, but I was talking about it, and I just started laughing, and for 20 minutes, I just couldn't stop laughing because he's doing does double clothesline, looks into the camera, and goes beef. I thought it was just hilarious, man. And I could see that catching on with the fans as well. Just everyone yelling beef after every move. So, so I'm glad you caught that as well. It's just great stuff. It made me a Daddiego fan for life. So, So yeah, that was great. So there was also we had the Christopher Daniels, of course, accepting Cody Rhodes' challenge. So in 2 weeks, we're gonna have 2 out of 3 falls. Daniels against Cody Rhodes. There's no way Daniels is gonna win that match. I'm going with Cody Rhodes to retain. You agree or disagree on that one?
I totally agree. There's no possible way. I didn't go to these TV tapings because they were in Massachusetts, and I didn't read any spoilers. But there is no possible way Christopher Daniels is taking that title off Cody Rhodes.
No, not a chance. Not a chance in hell. But that's something to look forward to in 2 weeks. And next week we got the Women of Honor. That's always fun. I think you got Karen Q against the badass Kelly Klein and Deonna Purrazzo. And Sumi Siaki against I kind of missed it. Was it Chris Wolf she's taking on next week? Did you catch that? Was it Chris Wolf against Sumi Siaki?
Yes, I believe you're right.
Okay, yeah, so that's definitely something to look forward to. And I've been trying to get Kelly Klein as well, so hopefully I could get Kelly Klein and Josh Woods. I'd like to get Kelly Klein on the show before the show airs. So we'll see what happens there. And then we had one more match, my guy, the Beer City Bruiser, which by the way,
yes.
If you're listening, if you haven't heard my interview with the Beer City Bruiser is available on the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. But Beer City Bruiser against 2017 top prospect Brian Malonis, right? Brian Malonis?
Brian Malonis, absolutely.
And that was a solid freaking match between the two. Both move really well for big men.
They do.
Bruiser with this frog splash. I would hate to be anyone having to take a frog splash from the Beer City Bruiser, but a solid match again. All around solid match between these two big men. I like Brian Malonis. Like I said, he moves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's got potential.
He was out in Chaotic Wrestling, I believe, right? I think I saw him in Chaotic Wrestling.
I don't know.
I think I did. I think I saw him in Chaotic. It could have been another promotion, but I could have sworn it was Chaotic Wrestling. But no, great match all around. And I love Silas Young and he's got the board. He's got 29. Now it's 29 days since we've seen Jay Lethal in the ring since he's been injured by at the hands of Young and Beer City Bruiser. I love those spots. I hope they go on for a bit, but eventually it's going to end with Jay Lethal coming back and probably hitting one of them over the head with the board or something. But I love those little spots with Silas Young wiping off the days and saying he's been out now for 29 days. So what did you overall think of the match between the two? Bruiser and Malonis.
I thought it was a good big man match. I guess Silas Young didn't catch Jay Lethal at the G1 special.
No.
But,
okay, that's true.
But he was wearing, he had his ribs taped up, so, No, it was a good match. The Bruiser, I really like the Bruiser and Silas as a tag team, and Bruiser starting to come into his own as a singles guy. I was happy with that match. It was a good big man match. It really was, and they both moved well, like you said, and the frog splash he hits is always killer. It's always good to see that. And I was happy with it. I'm pretty high on the Beer City Bruiser. He's had some really solid matches the past few months.
Yep, I agree, man. He's a cool dude too. I don't know if you listen to the interview, but I
did, yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, man. He's a real cool dude, and we spoke. I spoke to him before the interview, and I couldn't speak with it. He had to get going, so we spoke a little bit before the interview. Really, really cool, down to earth guy. I felt I connected with him right away. So, great guy. A big fan of the Beer City Bruiser, and hope to see more and more of the Bruiser on ROH television. So that was it for Ring of Honor. So we got next week. We got, like I said, Women of Honor returning. So out of NXT and Ring of Honor, and I think I know what your answer is. What was your favorite match of both shows? Between both shows.
Jay White and Kushida.
There you go. I knew it. I agree with you. With Birch and Lorcan, close second, but definitely.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Definitely,
yes, absolutely.
Jay White and Kushida was the best match of the two shows for the week. So, all right, so that's it, man. Hey, man, you wanna? This was fun, man. You know, you're welcome to come back anytime. So if you want to come back anytime, just let me know. We could do this every week if you want, man. This was an absolute blast with you, my man, and I appreciate you joining me today.
Absolutely, yeah. Just let me know. I'm honored that you consider me to come on the show. Absolutely, yeah. Just let me know. We'll talk.
All right, sounds good. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I think we're a tag team now, Luke. So it's gonna happen. So all right. So this is Louis Carlin on the Pro Wrestling Personified podcast. Once again, we're with the Topped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Again, I would like to thank my guest host, Luke Dorsch from Kayfabe Today, for joining me today. And that's it. So we'll be back next week to discuss more Ring of Honor action and more NXT action. So you want to say goodbye to everybody, Luke?
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening. Check out kayfabetoday.com.
All right, absolutely. kayfabetoday.com. And once again, I'm Louis Carlin. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll be back next week. And until then, take care, bye-bye, and stay safe.